Okay, what I'm doing here, I made a wedge tool out of this thing here to get behind the oil pan nut up under there, and I managed to knock the aluminum washer out from behind the nut. Now this thing will fit behind it, but I got to get leverage to try and, as I turn it, try and pry it out of this thing. Here's what I'm working with here. So this thing will now go up in there behind it, like that. And now I just got to use this to put some leverage on it, hopefully turning it, maybe it'll come out. But if this thing fails, I don't know what in the heck we're going to do. We're going to have to get that, might have to just cut it off and or drill through it, and then try to drill the hole big enough to maybe cut that thing some other way and work it out of that hole. But this will fit on there now that I knocked the washer out from behind it with this wedge tool I made. It fits onto there like that. It just locks right onto it now. It'll stay there like that. It'll just hang there because of the weight of this hole. So when I go to turn the nut, I'll just pull on this thing and try to put some leverage on it, hopefully put out pressure on it to make the thing come off. We're going to find out in a few minutes. I guess I'm going to take a break for a minute. Oh, catch my breath. Okay, I'm going to have to explain a little something here. Now, when you're trying to pry something that's this tough, and it is hard to get out, this metal here is a little soft. Now, what a lot of mechanics and engineer folks or whoever will tell you, you need positive control. That's like with this metal being soft, it might reach its bending point before that thing comes out, so you're going to lose. So positive control in a situation like this is very important. And I can explain that to my redneck friends in a different way. Like what it means to lose positive control. Let's say you yell at your woman to bring you a beer and she don't do it. Well, you done lost control. And it's very likely she's inside thinking, and contemplating your entire relationship. And that's how important control is in a situation like this. If you lose it, you lose it. So, anyway, we're going to try to hopefully bend that thing with that soft metal piece. If it don't work, I'll have to make a harder piece to fit in there to try to pry it out with. But anyway, that's the only way I can explain about how positive control would be in a situation like this. Okay, what we're going to do next is test fit this stock piece. The threads don't look too bad in there, so it's hard to tell if they're really messed up. The old bolt, it came out, I took it out with my air tool, impact wrench, while I was prying on it with this thing here that I made this morning. That thing worked out great. You can see these threads are gone. They're ripped all off of this thing. But the metal inside the oil pan there, it should be a lot stronger than this. So maybe the threads are actually okay in there, so we can use a stock piece to put back in there. We're going to find out in a few minutes. Okay, we got the self-threading nut in here. It went in a teeny bit crooked, which ain't too good, but it's sealed. It tightened up okay. Of course, there's always those other flat things that go in with a butterfly thing that goes inside there, and of course you can use them temporarily till you get a new oil pan or something. But this thing here seems like it's working okay. It's been sitting here a while. No leaks anywhere. I can hold my hand still. Anyway, anywho, I think that job is about done. Oh, here's the magic tool that saved the day. Just cut the end of this thing out like that, where it would wedge behind there, and it knocked that aluminum washer out from behind it. Worked pretty good, and used it to pry it off too. Okay, I got my oil filter and oil nut kit junk here for removing the stripped oil nuts and messed up oil. Sometimes your oil filter won't come off. This is a thing I rigged up a while back this thing clamps onto the oil filter, and I put self-tapping screws on the ends of it here. I drilled the holes and made it where the tapping screws would go through, and I sharpened the screws to points. And if you have a filter that just won't come off, if this will fit in there, you clamp this thing on there and adjust these screws where they puncture the filter. That thing's coming off of there. You can remove most any stubborn filter come off of this thing. Of course, these things, you know, they're custom fit to the filters. I've got a selection of just tools like you see. This thing here, clamp. You got this little grabber piece here that grabs onto the filters. I got an assortment of washers and aluminum and like nylon type washers. Here's the old school filter. This is the old school thing you use. It filters out in the open. You can get it off of that thing. Little funnels, these are little funnels I made to work this stuff. This is the tool I made yesterday to knock that washer out from behind the thing. It just worked out that way. I couldn't use the stock bolt. I decided to keep it. For some reason, you can see where it was starting to get caught right there. But I can re-thread it with my thread thing. This is the one that came out. Man, it was just stripped to the bone. And here's the washer that knocked out behind it. And I used the picking tool to get the other piece out. Anyway, like I said, here's the piece I made. I flared it out and sharpened these edges here on both sides to help fit behind the nut there. I used my BFH to knock that out of there. Anyway, this is a little kit I have for doing things like that. And everything worked out pretty good with it. It was just a project that popped up all of a sudden, so I thought I'd show a couple of techniques. You know, these things won't work on everything, but you know, you got to use your imagination and kind of MacGyver something off sometimes. This is that stuff used with electricians use this stuff for you know, track mounting stuff. Anyway, it's used. There's other uses for it too. I just had a few scrap pieces, and this thing worked out great for what we came up with. The solution for the thing. Anyway, that's that.